Gentlemen, let's be real for a moment. The truth is, most men are walking around confused, frustrated, and even broken because no one ever sat them down to tell them the reality about women. You grew up watching movies that told you love was simple. You saw music videos that told you women just want money or looks or status. And now you're stuck in a world where nothing adds up. You're giving your best, but it feels like it's never enough. You're kind, you provide, you show up, and still she pulls away, or worse, she leaves without an explanation. And that pain of not knowing why eats you alive inside. But here's the truth. Women are not a mystery. Their behavior is not random. There are patterns rooted in emotion, biology, and the deepest corners of the human heart. If you can understand these patterns, you stop being confused. You stop being needy, and you start stepping into the strength that women are truly drawn to. Today, I want to share with you 8 facts about women's behavior. Not fairy tales, not wishful thinking, but reality. And if you take these truths seriously, you will see women not as enemies, not as puzzles, but as human beings whose nature you can finally understand. Because once you understand her nature, you'll stop chasing validation and start commanding respect. One of the hardest truths for men to swallow is this: woman will test you. They won't schedule it. They won't announce it. They won't even consciously plan it, but it will happen. And it's not because she's evil, manipulative, or trying to hurt you. It's because testing is part of her nature. A woman tests because she needs to feel safe. Safety for a woman is not just physical protection. It's emotional stability. It's knowing that when life gets hard, you won't fold. When she's overwhelmed, you won't lose control. When she's emotional, you won't mirror her chaos. Think about it this way. A woman's heart is like a fragile container. She can only pour herself into a man she trusts will hold that container without breaking it. Her tests are not attacks. They're her way of asking, "Can I really trust you with me?" And here's where so many men fail. Instead of standing firm, they overreact. She makes a sarcastic remark and he blows up. She takes a little longer to text back and he spirals into panic. She expresses doubt and he begs for reassurance. All of this tells her one thing: this man is not strong enough for me. But when you pass her test, when she pushes and you stay calm, when she doubts and you remain certain, when she tries to trigger you and you don't take the bait, that's when her respect deepens. That's when attraction grows stronger. Understand, women don't test because they want you to fail. They test because they need to feel your strength. And strength is not arrogance. It's not yelling louder. It's quiet, unshakable confidence. It's a man who knows who he is and refuses to lose that identity no matter what storm is thrown at him. So the next time she tests you, don't see it as disrespect. See it as an opportunity to prove not to her, but to yourself that you are steady, centered, and grounded. Because once a woman knows you can hold your frame, she can finally let go of hers. Gentlemen, here's a truth that will save you years of frustration. Women don't fall in love with logic, they fall in love with emotion. You can't explain your way into her heart. You can't argue your way into her respect. And you definitely can't buy your way into her soul. What she remembers is not every word you said. It's the feeling your presence left inside her. Did she feel seen? Did she feel alive? Did she feel calm in your arms? Or did she feel drained, anxious, and invisible? Think about your own life. Do you remember every conversation you've had with your closest friends? No. But you remember how they made you feel: the laughter, the loyalty, the peace. Women are the same. She won't replay your perfectly crafted texts in her head, but she will replay the butterflies she felt when you looked her in the eyes and owned your confidence. And here's where so many men get lost. They think providing facts, solutions, or gifts is enough. They think if they tell her, "I love you," 10 times a day, she'll feel secure. But words without emotional weight are empty. A man can say, "I love you," while his tone communicates insecurity, desperation, or neediness, and she will feel that more than the words themselves. On the flip side, you don't even have to say much if your presence radiates strength, peace, and certainty. A simple smile, a calm silence, or a reassuring touch can communicate more than 1,000 sentences ever could. This is why women often leave men who did everything right. Because right was logical, not emotional. He bought the flowers. He showed up on time. He provided. But she never felt the energy that made her heart stay alive. So, here's the lesson. Focus less on what you do for her and more on how you show up around her. Is your energy heavy or light? Are you stable or reactive? Do you bring peace or chaos? Because a woman will never stay for what you provide if she drowns in what you project. When you learn to master your energy, you master attraction. Gentlemen, this may sting, but it will set you free. You cannot negotiate attraction. You can't argue your way into a woman's desire. You can't convince her heart to want you. Attraction doesn't work that way. See, most men make the mistake of believing that effort alone will win her over. If I'm nice enough, if I buy her gifts, if I prove how loyal I am, then eventually she'll love me. But attraction isn't built on transactions. It's built on emotions, instincts, and energy. Attraction is primal. It lives in the subconscious part of her mind. It's not about what she thinks she should want. It's about what her heart and body respond to without permission. And here's the reality. If she doesn't feel it, you can't plant it. Think about it. Have you ever had someone who liked you, but no matter how hard you tried, you just couldn't feel that spark? They were nice. They were respectful. They were even attractive on paper, but deep inside the desire just wasn't there. That's what women feel when men try to earn attraction instead of embodying it. Now, this doesn't mean attraction is purely physical. It's not just about looks or money. A man who walks with certainty, who has purpose, who knows who he is. He can spark attraction more than a man who looks good but is empty inside. Because true attraction is about how you live, not just how you look. Here's the trap. Many men waste years chasing women who were never truly interested. They think if they just try harder, she'll eventually wake up and see their worth. But while you're begging for her attention, another man who embodies confidence and strength captures her effortlessly. Not because he's better, but because he aligns with what her nature is wired to respond to. So, here's the hard pill. If she's not attracted, let her go. Don't beg. Don't chase. Don't negotiate. Move on and focus on building a life so magnetic that the right woman can't help but feel it. Because attraction isn't something you earn. It's something you ignite. Gentlemen, here's a truth most men overlook. A woman is often a reflection of the man she's with. If you're insecure, she becomes unstable. If you're confident, she relaxes. If you're all over the place, she mirrors that chaos. Women mirror the emotional climate of your masculine frame. Now, what do I mean by frame? Frame is your inner world, your mindset, your beliefs, your emotional stability. It's the invisible structure that says this is who I am and nothing will shake that. A man with a strong frame doesn't get thrown off by her moods, her doubts, or her tests. Instead, he remains grounded. Women are emotional creatures, and emotions shift like waves. One day she's high energy, the next she's doubtful, the next she's excited. Again, this is not weakness, it's her nature. But here's the key. When she feels your unshakable center, she calms down. She doesn't have to control everything because she trusts that you're already holding everything together. On the other hand, when a man has no frame, when he constantly seeks her approval, when he bends and breaks at the smallest sign of conflict, she spirals. She mirrors that instability, and soon the relationship feels like walking on glass. Think about it like this. If you're the tree, she's the wind. The wind will blow, shift, and change directions. But the tree doesn't chase the wind, it stands firm. The stronger the tree, the more the wind dances around it without uprooting it. That's the power of frame. This doesn't mean you dominate her. It doesn't mean you silence her. It means you lead yourself so powerfully that she feels safe to rest in your presence. A woman does not want a man who loses himself every time she loses her calm. She wants a man who can look her in the eyes and say, I hear you. I'm here and I'm not going anywhere. So remember this. She is not the storm. You are the anchor, and when you hold your frame, she will naturally mirror your peace. Because the truth is, a woman doesn't just follow your words. She follows your energy. Gentlemen, let me set you free from one of the biggest lies you've been told. You don't have to be perfect to be loved by a woman. What matters far more than perfection is consistency. You see, too many men exhaust themselves trying to impress. They want to look flawless, never make mistakes, always have the right answers, always provide the grand gestures. And while those things may look good on the surface, they don't build trust. Women don't measure a man by his occasional high points. They measure him by his daily consistency. Here's the truth. A woman would rather have a man who shows up every day as the same grounded, reliable version of himself than a man who shines bright one moment and disappears the next. Why? Because consistency is security, and security is what allows a woman to truly open up, to truly give her heart without fear. Think of it like this. Imagine a light bulb that flickers on and off. It doesn't matter how bright that light is when it's on. If it can't stay steady, no one can rely on it. Women feel the same about men. You don't have to blind her with brilliance. You just need to keep shining steadily. Now, consistency doesn't mean boring. It doesn't mean predictable in the sense of never growing or changing. It means that the core of who you are remains stable. If you say you'll call, you call. If you make a promise, you keep it. If you set a standard for yourself, you live by it. That's what builds trust. Perfection, on the other hand, is exhausting. When you try to be perfect, you create pressure for yourself and for her, and eventually that pressure cracks. But when you focus on consistency, you create peace. She knows who she's coming home to. She knows what energy you'll bring. She knows your word actually means something. So stop chasing flawless. Stop trying to impress her with rare moments of greatness. Instead, master the art of showing up every day with integrity, strength, and reliability. Because perfection attracts attention, but consistency earns respect, and respect is what keeps love alive. Gentlemen, one of the most painful truths to face in relationships is this. When a woman walks out physically, she's already been gone in her heart for a long time. Most men don't see it coming, not because the signs weren't there, but because they ignored them. A woman rarely leaves suddenly. She detaches in stages. First, she stops laughing at your jokes. Then, she stops reaching out with the same warmth. Conversations get shorter, touch becomes less frequent. The sparkle in her eyes begins to dim, and yet she may still be physically present, cooking dinner, going out with you, sleeping next to you. But in reality, her heart is quietly packing its bags. The tragedy is that many men only react once she's already gone. They beg, they plead, they suddenly wake up to fight for her love, only to discover she has nothing left to give. Because by the time she walks away, she has cried her tears, fought her inner battles, and made her peace. She left you months ago emotionally. Now, don't misunderstand this. Women don't leave because they're cruel. They leave because the connection that once nourished them is no longer there. Maybe you stopped listening.